When you walk into a church, you expect to find a place of peace, comfort, and spiritual growth. It should be a sanctuary where you can connect with your faith and find support from a like-minded community. However, some churches might not be what they appear to be. These places, which may look welcoming on the outside, could hide teachings and practices that are damaging to your spiritual and emotional well-being. In these environments, instead of being uplifted and inspired, you might find yourself feeling trapped, manipulated, or controlled. It's important to recognize the signs and understand why you should distance yourself from these churches urgently to protect your spiritual journey. If you remain in a church with harmful teachings and practices, you risk losing your spiritual freedom and sense of self. These churches might preach messages of fear and guilt, making you feel unworthy or afraid of divine punishment. This approach can stifle your spiritual growth, leaving you feeling disconnected from your inner peace and true purpose. Instead of empowering you to explore your faith, these churches may use intimidation to control your beliefs and actions. Over time, this can erode your self-esteem and damage your mental and emotional health. Recognizing the urgency of the situation is crucial, as staying in such an environment could lead to lasting negative effects on your life. One of the first signs of a problematic church is the presence of toxic teachings. These teachings often focus on fear, guilt, and shame, rather than love, compassion, and understanding. Instead of encouraging a personal connection with your faith, they may emphasize strict adherence to rules and doctrines, discouraging critical thinking and personal exploration. These churches may use fear of divine punishment as a tool to keep members obedient and compliant. This approach can make you feel like you are constantly walking on eggshells, afraid of making mistakes that could jeopardize your spiritual standing. It's important to remember that true spirituality should be about growth, exploration, and understanding, not fear and control. In a church with toxic teachings, you might notice sermons that frequently focus on sin, punishment, and damnation, with little emphasis on forgiveness, redemption, and love. The language used can be harsh and judgmental, making you feel inadequate and unworthy. This type of environment can leave you feeling anxious and stressed, constantly worried about your spiritual status and fearing divine retribution for your actions. Moreover, these churches may discourage questioning and independent thought, viewing it as a threat to their authority. They may insist that their interpretation of Scripture is the only valid one, dismissing any differing opinions or perspectives. This can create a culture of conformity, where members feel pressured to accept teachings without question, even if they conflict with personal beliefs and values. Being part of a church with toxic teachings can lead to a disconnect between your faith and your personal experiences, making you feel as if you are living a double life. You may find yourself agreeing with things you don't truly believe, out of fear of judgment or rejection. This can result in a loss of authenticity, where you no longer feel true to yourself or your spiritual journey. Recognizing toxic teachings is the first step in protecting your spiritual journey. It's important to seek out communities that uplift and inspire you, encouraging you to explore your faith in a way that resonates with your personal beliefs and values. True spirituality should be about love, acceptance, and growth, not fear and control. Spiritual freedom is essential for personal growth and fulfillment. It allows you to explore your beliefs, question teachings, and develop a personal connection with your faith. In a healthy spiritual environment, you are encouraged to think critically and seek out new perspectives, fostering a deeper understanding of your beliefs and values. Unfortunately, some churches restrict spiritual freedom by imposing rigid doctrines and discouraging independent thought. They may insist on a strict interpretation of Scripture, leaving little room for personal exploration or differing opinions. This can create an atmosphere of conformity, where members feel pressured to accept teachings without question, even if they conflict with personal beliefs and experiences. When your spiritual freedom is restricted, you may feel trapped and suffocated, unable to express your true self or explore your faith in a meaningful way. This can lead to a sense of disconnection from your beliefs, leaving you feeling lost and unfulfilled. Instead of growing and evolving in your spiritual journey, you may find yourself stuck in a cycle of fear and conformity, unable to break free from the constraints imposed by the church. Spiritual freedom is about embracing your unique beliefs and experiences, allowing you to connect with your faith on a personal level. It's about finding your own path and discovering what resonates with you, rather than blindly following the teachings of others. A church that truly supports your spiritual journey will encourage you to explore your beliefs, ask questions, and seek out new perspectives, fostering a sense of empowerment and personal growth. In a church that restricts spiritual freedom, you may feel like your voice is silenced, your questions dismissed, and your beliefs invalidated. This can create a sense of isolation and disconnection, leaving you feeling like you don't belong. It's important to seek out communities that value diversity of thought and encourage open dialogue, allowing you to explore your faith in a way that feels authentic and true to yourself. Spiritual freedom is a fundamental aspect of personal growth and fulfillment. It's about embracing your unique beliefs and experiences, allowing you to connect with your faith on a deeper level. By seeking out communities that support and nurture your spiritual journey, you can find a sense of belonging and empowerment, fostering a deeper connection with your faith and a greater sense of personal fulfillment. Cult-like behavior is another red flag to watch out for when evaluating a church. These behaviors can include excessive control over members' lives, demands for blind obedience, and manipulation tactics to maintain authority. Cult-like churches often use fear and intimidation to keep members in line, discouraging questioning and independent thought. One of the key characteristics of a cult-like church is the demand for absolute loyalty to its leaders. Members are often expected to follow the teachings and directives of the leaders without question, even if they conflict with personal beliefs or values. This can create a culture of conformity, where dissenting voices are silenced and differing opinions are seen as threats to the church's authority. In a cult-like church, leaders may use manipulation tactics to maintain control over members. This can include isolating members from outside influences, discouraging contact with friends and family who may hold differing beliefs, and using guilt and shame to keep members in line. Members may be made to feel like they are the problem if they question the church's teachings or express doubt. Cult-like churches often demand excessive time, money, and resources from their members. They may pressure members to donate large sums of money, volunteer extensive hours, or participate in numerous church activities, leaving little time for personal pursuits or relationships outside the church. This can create a sense of dependency on the church, making it difficult for members to leave or question its teachings. Being part of a cult-like church can lead to feelings of isolation, anxiety, and fear. Members may feel trapped and unable to express their true beliefs or question the teachings they are being fed. It's important to recognize these behaviors and seek out communities that value individuality, critical thinking, and personal freedom. By identifying cult-like behavior and distancing yourself from such environments, you can protect your spiritual journey and find a community that supports your growth and empowerment. A healthy spiritual environment should encourage open dialogue, independent thought, and personal exploration, allowing you to connect with your faith in a way that feels authentic and true to yourself. In some churches, emotional manipulation and guilt are tools used to control members and keep them obedient. Instead of promoting a loving and nurturing environment, these churches often use guilt to make individuals feel responsible for their struggles and shortcomings. This manipulation can leave you feeling anxious, ashamed, and constantly striving to meet unrealistic standards set by the church leaders. Emotional manipulation may come in the form of sermons that emphasize your unworthiness or sinfulness, making you feel inadequate and dependent on the church for redemption. This can create a cycle of guilt and shame, where you are constantly seeking approval and forgiveness from the church rather than building a genuine relationship with your spirituality. Furthermore, some churches may use guilt to discourage you from questioning their teachings or practices. They may suggest that doubt is a sign of weak faith, or that asking questions indicates a lack of trust in the church's authority. This can lead to feelings of isolation and confusion, as you suppress your true thoughts and feelings to fit the church's expectations. Recognizing emotional manipulation and guilt in a church setting is crucial for maintaining your mental and emotional health. It's important to seek out communities that uplift and support you, encouraging you to explore your faith without fear or judgment. Spiritual growth should be about embracing your journey with love and acceptance, not about being controlled through fear and guilt. Financial exploitation is a serious concern in some churches, where leaders prioritize money over the spiritual well-being of their members. These churches may pressure members to make large donations, purchase expensive materials, or invest in church-related projects, often at the expense of their personal financial security. In some cases, church leaders may use scripture or spiritual teachings to justify their financial demands, suggesting that giving money will lead to greater blessings or spiritual rewards. This can create a culture of fear and obligation, where members feel compelled to give beyond their means to avoid divine punishment or loss of spiritual favor. Financial exploitation can also manifest in excessive fundraising efforts, where members are encouraged to constantly contribute to church projects and initiatives. This can place a significant financial burden on individuals and families, leaving them with little money for personal needs and responsibilities. It's important to recognize the signs of financial exploitation and protect yourself from being taken advantage of by unscrupulous church leaders. A healthy spiritual community should prioritize the well-being and empowerment of its members, encouraging responsible and voluntary giving rather than demanding financial sacrifices. By being aware of financial exploitation and setting healthy boundaries, you can protect your financial security and ensure that your contributions are truly aligned with your values and beliefs. Spiritual growth should be about connection and community, not about financial obligation or exploitation. A lack of genuine community and support is another sign that it's time to distance yourself from a particular church. In a healthy spiritual environment, you should feel a sense of belonging and connection with fellow members who offer support, encouragement, and companionship on your spiritual journey. However, some churches fail to provide this sense of community, leaving you feeling isolated and disconnected. Instead of fostering meaningful relationships and genuine connections, these churches may prioritize numbers and attendance over individual well-being, treating members as mere statistics rather than valued individuals. In such environments, you may find it difficult to connect with others on a deeper level, as interactions are often superficial and centered around church activities rather than personal growth and support. This can lead to feelings of loneliness and dissatisfaction as you struggle to find a true sense of belonging within the church community. It's important to seek out communities that prioritize connection and support, where members genuinely care for one another and work together to foster a nurturing and uplifting environment. True spiritual growth occurs in a supportive community where you can share your journey with others and find encouragement and inspiration along the way. By finding a community that values your individuality and supports your spiritual journey, you can create meaningful relationships and find a true sense of belonging. Spiritual growth should be about connection and community, not about isolation or superficial interactions. Fear is a powerful tool that some churches use to control and manipulate their members. Instead of fostering a sense of love and empowerment, these churches often rely on fear-based teachings to keep members in line, emphasizing the consequences of straying from the church's beliefs and practices. Fear-based teachings may include threats of divine punishment or eternal damnation, making members feel anxious and afraid of making mistakes. This can create a culture of fear and compliance, where individuals are more concerned with avoiding punishment than exploring their faith and personal growth. In such environments, spiritual practices may become rigid and rule-based, leaving little room for personal exploration or connection. Instead of feeling uplifted and inspired, you may find yourself feeling stressed and overwhelmed, constantly striving to meet the church's expectations to avoid negative consequences. Recognizing the role of fear in spiritual practices is crucial for maintaining a healthy and balanced spiritual journey. It's important to seek out communities that promote love, compassion, and understanding, encouraging you to explore your faith in a way that feels authentic and empowering. Spiritual growth should be about embracing your journey with love and acceptance, not about living in fear of punishment or judgment. By finding a community that supports your spiritual freedom and personal growth, you can cultivate a sense of peace and fulfillment in your spiritual journey. Choosing a healthy spiritual path is essential for personal growth and fulfillment. It's about finding a community that supports your beliefs and values, encouraging you to explore your faith in a way that resonates with your personal experiences and understanding. In a healthy spiritual environment, you are encouraged to think critically and seek out new perspectives, fostering a deeper connection with your faith and a greater sense of personal empowerment. You should feel supported and uplifted by your community, with members who genuinely care for your well-being and growth. By choosing a spiritual path that aligns with your values and beliefs, you can create a sense of belonging and fulfillment, finding joy and peace in your spiritual journey. It's about embracing your unique experiences and beliefs, allowing you to connect with your faith on a deeper level. It's crucial to recognize the signs of unhealthy churches and distance yourself from environments that harm your spiritual and emotional well-being. By seeking out communities that uplift and support you, you can cultivate a deeper connection with your faith and find a true sense of fulfillment on your spiritual journey. Thank you for embarking on this exploration with me. If you found this video helpful, please consider sharing it with others who may benefit from this message. Your journey is yours to create, and I encourage you to seek out the path that brings you the greatest joy and fulfillment. Take care, and remember to always trust your inner wisdom as you navigate your spiritual journey.